A few months back, BenQ released their newest line of entertainment monitors, the 144Hz EX2780Q and the 4K EW3280U. Both monitors boast BenQ's latest 2.1 channel integrated speaker system and their new proprietary technology HDRi, designed to give you the clearest and sharpest images without scarring your eyes. Today, we will be looking at the EW3280U, the 32-inch 4K IPS model, and determine if it's worth your investment. A big thanks goes out to BenQ for providing the monitor for this review, and even though this is sponsored by BenQ, it will not have an effect on the opinions presented. Let's dive in. Before I go into anything else, I want to dig into HDRi, as it's the biggest feature of this monitor and undoubtedly one of the bigger reasons behind its $800 price tag. As I already mentioned, the HDRi system is proprietary to BenQ, and it is designed to take you a step beyond regular HDR, bringing the clearest, sharpest, and most colorful experience to your screen day or night. With 3 different HDRi settings, this monitor caters to what type of content you want to see, from cinematic movies, video games, or if you just want to watch videos in standard HDR. HDRi is intended to work as a combination of 3 main components: intelligent control, stunning clarity, and vivid color. Intelligent control is a near invisible sensor on the monitor itself that detects the amount of ambient light around it while also evaluating screen content. When enabled, it will constantly adjust the brightness and color temperature of your monitor as part of BenQ's eye care initiative to reduce eye strain primarily at night. I can commend BenQ's desire to keep our retinas from scarring themselves on an ultra bright monitor for us night owl gamers and designers, but for me personally, the intelligent control is one of the first options I turned off once I got everything set up. As a designer and a video editor, correct color is essential to the content that I create. Intelligent control constantly caused issues with my editing process, and until I figured out how to turn it off, I was going a bit mental every time I sat at my desk, because the screen looked dramatically different as it auto-adjusted to my surroundings, whether I was working at day or night or with a lamp. And speaking of lamp, it didn't help to have BenQ's monitor lamp on my other screen, and when it was on, the intelligent control just lost itself at night, trying to figure out how to cope with its cousin on the other screen. For those people who don't need absolute correct color and want to reduce eye strain, this is perfect for you. And it worked exactly as advertised with a host of different settings to match whatever low light environment I worked in. It was just more of a pain for myself. When it comes to clarity, the EW3280U excels above other 4K monitors I've worked with in the past. With its high 138 ppi, or pixels per inch, even at 150% scaling, I still have a huge canvas to spread out my programs or to give me a lot of editing space to work in. On top of that, this IPS monitor has a standard contrast of 1000:1 and a dynamic contrast of 20 million to 1, designed to preserve details in the darkest of darks and the brightest of brights at the same time. And with this monitor, the dynamic contrast ratio is a crazy high number, but that tends to be more of a marketing punch than a true engineering spec, especially with IPS models. Now that being said, the dynamic contrast on the EW3280U was pretty impressive when testing it on various videos, especially in the cinematic HDRi mode. And the last component, though by all means not the least, is vivid colors. To start, this monitor has a 10-bit color range, meaning that with the right hardware, you could be looking at over 1 billion different colors on your screen. And as a designer, being able to see smoother gradients or slight variations in color across my designs is amazing. And when it comes to video editing or binge watching colorful 4K videos, you can really see the color depth stand out as you watch. Alongside that is the 95% DCI P3 color gamut, which gives you a much wider range of colors to both see and work with. Though, how many people would understand the differences between DCI P3 and sRGB is probably low, and I've really only barely dabbled in it myself. The combination of these factors, aside from the intelligent control as mentioned, has produced some truly stunning results. Among my favorite videos to watch are actually nature and travel documentaries, nerdily enough. These types of videos tend to have those darkest of darks mixed in with bright whites and some amazing color combinations, and to have a monitor that brings all of that closer without losing clarity or saturation is fantastic and one of the highlights for this monitor. When it comes to external sound, I have always used USB or audio jack speakers. I have never actually owned a monitor that comes with speakers. Well, that has definitely changed as this monitor comes with two 2-watt speakers in the front and a 5-watt subwoofer on the backside. This 2.1 channel system allows BenQ to create an audio experience that hits the highs, mids, and lows without distortion or compromise. To further customize your audio needs, the BenQ Travolo team created 5 separate audio modes to create realistic quality depending on what you're watching or listening to. Cinema is designed specifically for, go figure, movies. Game mode emphasizes sound localization, ideal for shooters. Dialogue vocal caters to clear vocal quality, great for podcasts or TV shows.
The fishing grounds of our planet and can provide an abundance of food.
Rock Party is music inclined with enhanced bass. And last is Pop Live, optimized for realistic live audio quality. The sound quality of these speakers is just fantastic. Heavier bass-driven music doesn't distort unless you're rocking everything at the highest volume possible. Vocal quality is great when listening to podcasts, as I mentioned. And for the casual gamer, the gaming mode does work fairly well, though I imagine any serious gamer would want to have headphones on instead. There really isn't a single mode that doesn't match well when it's up against its matching content, to which I was really honestly surprised about. Now that these big features are out of the way, it's time to dig into the build specs. This is a full 32-inch, 4K resolution, 144Hz IPS monitor, ensuring again that color is more consistent and has more depth than other monitor types. It's not exactly slim due to the 3 speakers built into it. However, it still has a very smooth and modern design. You don't really see the thickness of the monitor or notice anything like that while you're working on it. The base is pretty dang sturdy, which is good because it's quite the bulky screen, weighing in at just around 18 pounds. But it's still sturdy enough to allow the monitor to give a little against bumping and still allow movement without risk of tipping over. To counter that a bit, it does have a 178 left, right, up, down viewing angle, meaning that you won't see the picture deteriorate even if you're looking at it from an extreme side angle. It's important to remember that this is not specifically a gaming monitor, it's an overall entertainment monitor, so its 5 millisecond response time won't give you any advantages in high pressure, quick reaction games, but it is very much suited to the single player experience like strategy games or some RPGs. And to be honest, with the color features and high resolution, strategy games like Total War and Three Kingdoms specifically do look awfully beautiful on this screen. On supports, the 3280U has 4 of them, 2 HDMI, 1 DisplayPort, and a USB Type 3, giving you a range of ports for both desktops and laptops, whatever tickles your fancy. And one of the more interesting features is a dedicated remote, which is absolutely necessary given all the HDRi, sound, brightness, and volume settings that you can customize on this monitor. It definitely beats having to blindly search for buttons on the back side of the screen, and if pushing a button is too much or you've maybe misplaced your remote, it has its own volume wheel on the bottom left of the screen. Pretty great calls overall. Now that I've broken down everything inside and out, just what is my opinion of the EW3280U? For all of its bells and whistles, I found myself using most of these settings across all the media I both work and play in. I didn't truly expect to be switching to cinematic mode when watching a documentary, or to switch my audio settings depending on what I'm listening to on YouTube or Spotify. If there's one critique I have, it's to figure out that intelligent control. It gets really confused when there's multiple light sources, which is to be expected, but especially as a designer who needs a bit of a brighter screen when working at night, it sure was a pain in the butt trying to figure out just how to turn it off, and I will pretty much always have it off for the remainder of its life. It's a great concept, and I appreciate the concern, and again, it worked as it was supposed to, but the execution was off for what I personally use this monitor for. That aside, there is a lot going on with this screen, and it really does live up to the idea of an overall entertainment monitor. Its price tag of $800 is a bit steep considering the times, but in my honest opinion, with all of the features and settings, on top of this being an IPS monitor, which will always be more expensive anyways, I'd say BenQ has really created a solid monitor that will be competitive in the ever-growing market for quite a while to come. And that's about it for my review on BenQ's EW3280U. I do hope you enjoyed it. Thanks again to BenQ for sending this my way. And if you're looking to grab one yourself or want to shop around for parts that maybe make up my current build, click on the Amazon store link in the description below, as any sales from that link will help directly support the channel. Thank you for watching. This is Havoc, and I will see you in the next video.